Haskeh lishmor halil amor ulamed lishmor velahasor ulkayem kol divrei Talmud Toratecha v'yahava ve'ha'ernenu b'Toratecha v'tabek l'megnu b'mitzvotecha ve'yachei לבבנו ליחווה ולראה את שמך ולא נבוש לעולם ועד ולא נבוש לעולם ועד יבשי קודשך הגדול והנורא הגדול והנורא פתחנו נגילה ונשמחה נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך.
Gather our tzitzit, holding them together close to our hearts as we turn to Vahavienu, which will lead us into the Shema, page 240, Vahavienu.
Vahavienu l'shalom me'arba k'hanfot haaretz v'tolechenu komemiyut le'arseinu ki epo yeshuot atah ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול סלע באמת להודות לך ולייחדך ולייחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
244, 245, 246, 247. והיה לאהבה למען ירבו ימיכם ובניכם. ציצית. V'yashamayim ala aretz, top of page 246.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor taber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'yasu lehem tzitzit al kafei bigdeihem v'dovrotam v'natenu al tzitzit hachana v'tetechet v'haya lachem v'tzitzit uritem oto oschartem eko mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher atem zonim achareichem למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם Amen.
248.
ודורנו קיים ושמו קיים וחיסון נכון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת
ודבריו
אמת שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו מלכנו מלך אבותינו גואלנו גואל אבותינו יוצרנו יוצר ישועתנו פורנו מצילנו מעולם שמך אין אלוהים
זולתך 250 עזרת אבותינו תהו מעולם הזאת שיבחו אהובים רם המואל רם וניסן גדול ונורא משפיל גאים ומגביה השפלים מוציא הסירים Amen. Top of page 252.
Yom Baruch Hu Varach Moshe u'bnei Yisrael echanu shira v'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam mi chamocha b'elohim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'hakodesh noradi lo tosefel osefel noradi lo tosefel osefel shira chadasha shibechu geolim hashimacha sifatayam יחכל אבות ובהמליכו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ובטח נאומך יהודה וישראל אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך וברוך שמו
ישראל.
So let's begin the Shacharit Amidah for Shabbat, beginning on page 255.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol HaKippur v'Hanora Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim Mekoneh HaKol וזוכר חסדי אבות ומאהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ויחווה מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ויסרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע Morid hatav, mechakel chayit bechesed, mechayei metim berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato l'shenei achad. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממיר ומחייב ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לאחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך וברוך שמו
מחיי המתים
קדושה 256
נקדש השליך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב היה נביאך הקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו אז בקול גדול עתיר וחזק עתיר וחזק משמין כל מנוסעים לעומת סרפים לעומתם לעומתם ברוך לעומנו ברוך כפור אדוני ממקומו ממקומך מלכנו תופיע ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך מתי תמלוך בציון וקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון תתקדש ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים ועינינו תראנה מלכותך הדבר האמור והשירהו זכר על ידי דוד משיח צדקך ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון דור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיגו לך לדור ודור נגיגו לך לנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, ציפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול וקדוש, גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש.
Continue 258, 259 through to the conclusion 266, 267. המקדש השביעי, חמדת ימים אותו קראת, Yum bum 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 bum. Yum bum 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 bum. Yeah, bum 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 bum. Jan.
עושה שלום אם נאמר, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Kaddish Shalem 268.
Yikra v'yikra shemei Rabbi, Yamad yivrach erutev yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayirechu b'it Yisrael, b'agala u'v'zman kariv yemaru. Amen. Yeshmei Rabba mevarach, ve'alam ulam ve'yamaya. Yitparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalash melekudesha berechu ve'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran me'ama v'yemaru. Amen. T'yitkaper salotchon u'va'otchon techo Yisrael kodam avachoni v'yishmaya v'yemaru. Amen. Shlama Rabbamin Shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imroma, yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen.
We're now to the Torah service, 312.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ve'en kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai melech, Adonai yimloch le'olam v'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Avarachamim hektiv Sohorecha Etzion Tibnei Chomot Yerushalayim Tibnei Chomot Yerushalayim Ki b'chol levavatachnu
Benisa Adon Olamim.
Vayehi b'tzo ha'aron vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai ve'yafutzu oivecha ve'anufsu mesanecha mipanecha ki b'Zion tetzeh Torah ki b'Zion tetzeh Torah Odevar Adonai miYerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
On this Sabbath day, O God, we approach the sacred ark, seeking inspiration and renewal. As we prepare to hear once again the words of your Torah, we rededicate ourselves to your law of love. May the sanctity and splendor of Shabbat abide with us during the days of the coming week. May our quest to know your will lead us to hallow your name in all that we say and do. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
ובענרץ ולשמי קדישה, קדישה יקירה, אנא אמרתוש וחנה, וענרץ, ולשמי קדישה, קדישה יקירה, אנא אמרתוש וחנה, יהי רעבך קדמה, תפתח ליבי באורייתא, ותשיב משאלים דלבי, ולהיבדך עולמך ישראל, לטבו חיים ולשלום.
Let's find ourselves on page 332, the prayer for our country. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings upon our country and upon the leaders of our nation and of our communities. Inspire all who lead and serve to conduct their affairs honorably. May peace and security, happiness and prosperity, right and freedom abide among us. Unite the inhabitants of our country of all backgrounds and creeds, so that we may banish hatred and bigotry, safeguard our noblest ideals, and preserve those institutions which nurture liberty. May this land under your providence be an influence for good, helping us unite all peoples in peace and freedom, and bringing closer to fulfillment the vision of your prophets. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. For the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness calm and confidence forever. Amen. Amen. Page 320.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shemo.
Gadol Adonai iti, od romema shemo yachta. Lecha Adonai hagedula, v'hagedula, v'hatiferes, v'hanetzach, v'ha'od. Kicho b'shamayim uvadet, kicho b'shamayim uvadet. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, Rosh Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lahadom Aglav Kadoshu Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lehar Kosho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tiva lanu Moshe. You all may be seated. Thank you. It's already rolled, so we're ready. Just need to cover it.
So friends, before we get into the Torah discussion this morning, I first want to extend a welcome. It's a sad kind of a welcome. Carol to you and Lois to you, two dear sisters, on the passing of your dear brother David. And as we were just chatting, wow, what a man your brother David was. Clearly so very bright. You know, to say intelligent was an understatement. And an interest in so many varied things of life. You know, so many people are like pigeonholed into one. You know, they function with one side of the brain. He functioned with all sides of the brain. I don't know how many sides we have altogether, but he functioned with all of them in the sciences, in the arts, in music. Really, quite a man. You're quite a brother. Yeah, hold on to loving memories of him. So we all offer the words together of our tradition. Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'toch Sha'ar Avelei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you as God comforts all mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Good that you're here this morning. Yeah. So folks, here I stand all alone this morning, all alone. Usually I can count on a couple of others having a bow tie on Shabbat morning, but as I look around, I'm left here all alone. Jan can't even look up at me right now. Jan, 2 days in a row with a necktie last night and today? What's going on with you, man? Huh?
The same one, Rabbi.
Oh, okay. So let's turn to today's parsha. It's Shalach Lecha, beginning on page 840. And Jan kind of gave us a refresher course in it a little bit earlier today, which is helpful. The story of the scouts, the spies that go out to reconnoiter the land, to scout out the land, to spy out the land. 10 bring back a bad report, say we can't do it, there's no way, we can't go up, they're too strong for us, we'll never make it. 2 said that we can make it. That was Joshua and Caleb. They were the only two who actually made it, did make it. If you say you're going to make it, you make it. If you say we're not going to make it, we're not going to make it. But there's one verse that I want to look at in particular, which is very close to the end of this narrative. So go to page 844. We'll look at it first in English, and then we'll go back to the Hebrew. See verse 32? It says, thus they spread calumnies. Is that a word any of you ever used? Do you ever say, have any of you ever spread calumnies? Huh? Do you what?
Calumnies.
You say calumnies, I say calumnies. You know what? I've never said the word before. I've never read this English. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Calumnies?
Yeah, lies.
So you say, you use the word, Michael.
Yes.
When was the last time you used it?
I don't remember. But I had used it.
But you know that you used it. Those you could say to somebody, why do you spread such calumnies? Is that, no, I'm not saying you, but that's, you could say that, right? Okay. Are you sure that's not a Atlanta, Georgia pronunciation of it, Michael? Maybe up north we do say calumnies? What?
University of Michigan pronunciation.
Oh, okay. Well, in Michigan, they know what they're doing. Okay, so among the Israelites, about the land they had scouted. Okay, now here's the important point. The country that we traveled and scouted is one that devours its settlers. Now just think for a moment, what does it mean, a land that devours its settlers? Devours its settlers. In Hebrew, if you just look over on the other side, it says, Eretz ochelet yoshveha. It is a land that eats its settlers, but devours is a better word to use, just as calumnies is better to use than just saying they lied, right? So it devours its settlers, but then it goes on to say, all the people that we saw in it are men of great size. Now, isn't there a problem with that statement, with that verse? It is a land that devours its settlers, right? Just think of what the land must be like. People that live there, the land devours it. And the men that we saw there were men of great size. Then it goes on to say they were like giants. Giants. Is there a problem with that? Now remember, this is the report of the 10. The 10. I saw you nodding your head first, Sherry, and then Arlene, you did. Well, what's the problem, Sherry?
The problem is that if the land was devouring its settlers, the people that were on the land certainly wouldn't be giants.
You would think.
You would think.
In other words, if the land is so lousy, how does it produce giants? Arlene, what were you going to say? It doesn't make sense. It's opposite. Michael?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, now, don't hold on. We're not up to that yet. I'm still at, it doesn't make any sense. It seems like, we'll get to you, Michael. It seems like there's a contradiction in this. And you know how you pick out a liar, someone who's lying? One of the ways is they say things that don't make any sense. They actually contradict itself. You say this, you say, look, it doesn't make any sense. So it seems like these guys must be lying. That if the land's so horrible that it eats its settlers, then how do you have men of great size? See, they were trying to give two reports at the same time. One was, we don't want to go in there and conquer the land. It's a horrible land. And if we did want to go in, the men are so amazingly gigantic that we'll never conquer them. Really, in the same sentence, you're like throwing everything up against the wall and see if anything sticks, right? You know? Okay, Michael, make sense out of this for us.
Okay. I think that Israel devours its people. And I'll give two examples. My own personal first experience. The first time I came to Jerusalem and Israel, I looked around for about 2 or 3 days and said, what in the world is going on here? This land isn't worth fighting for. It's barren, it's this, it's that. It took about 3 days. And the land devoured me. It took about 3 days for it to catch on to me and literally pull me in. The love of the land. And the other example...
No, but Michael, you wouldn't say, therefore, the land devoured you. You would say the land you would say the land embraced you. Devoured you would mean that you...
It takes you inside of you.
But that's not devouring. Listen, I don't know anything about calumnies, but I know what devouring means.
And
Michael, you're married to an English teacher over here. She's shaking her head like this.
There's a difference between devour and embrace.
Okay, but
Like an embrace is a gentle, nice, warm feeling. And devouring means it takes over you. And my second example.
no, I think devouring is like destroying you. There wouldn't be anything left of Michael afterwards. Okay, Jan's good. Oh, okay, okay.
The other thing is, the land produces giants. Once it's taken you in, devoured you top to bottom, and you come out a giant.
Like David Ben Gurion, he was a giant, right? He was 5'2". Yeah, Jan.
I always interpreted that to mean that the giants had all the power, and then the peons were being worked to death, starving to death because they were being taxed out of their minds, and they were dying off that way. And that's how I thought the land was devouring its people, because they were being subjugated so hard.
So in other words, you're saying that there were two different classes in the land.
Exactly.
There were the haves and the have-nots. So
Were destroying the have-nots.
the haves were destroying the have-nots. Yeah. Okay, I think that to come up with an answer like that, Jan, involves a great deal of perspicacity. For those who were here on time today, that's the word that Jan used before. But truly, it takes perspicacity. Yeah. Boy, a lot of big words being thrown around today. Yeah. By the way, it's a compliment. Perspicacity means insight, wisdom, understanding. Yes, Mimi and then Mitch.
I think I may have read this at one time as a midrash, that because of the fact that there was a famine in the land, that when the spies came, they saw that a lot of people were being buried because of the fact that they were not eating, so obviously they were dying. And I think that would also have something to do with the fact that the earth is now taking in its inhabitants.
You must have read Rashi, Mimi. You must have read Rashi. We're going to get to it. Yeah, you must have read Rashi. Yeah, Mitch, go on.
I would just say that from our experience and our people, we know that whatever the lives do not have to be consistent one to the other. We know that we control all the world and all the banking systems, and yet we're also communists. So the lies told about us, this is a foreshadowing of what will happen to us throughout our history.
Yeah, right. Well, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So I want to first just share a couple of the traditional mefarshim on this. And first, I want to come back to what Mimi just said. This is very interesting. He says, Rashi says, Ochelet Yoshvehad, land that eats its inhabitants. So here's what Rashi says. B'chol makom she'avarnu, in every place that we passed by, he's speaking on behalf of the scouts, matzanum kovrei meitim. We saw them burying their dead. That's what the spies saw. But they say, V'HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, praise be God, Asa L'tova. God did this for the good. Kidei L'tardam ba'avelam. That God did it so that they would be involved with or bothered with, consumed with. Consume is like devour. They would be consumed with their mourning, v'lo yitnu leiv la'elu. And they wouldn't even take notice of the spies that were there. Do you understand what Rashi's saying? I can't see if you do or not because I don't have my glasses on. So, do you understand what Rashi's saying? So, that what God did was he caused people to fall and so everybody else was busy burying them. So the spies came in and nobody paid any attention to them. It's a little bit outlandish. You might say to yourself, well, what kind of God is that? Is that God's killing them all? Listen, when you hear a report that 100 Ukrainians are killed in a day, it hurts, doesn't it? When you hear that the Ukrainians killed 200 Russians in a day, invaders, you feel a hurt for those boys, but there's a sense of, well, this is necessary. It's got to be done, right? No, you got to be able to stop this war and beat these. Yes, honey?
Isn't that what God pretty much promised, that he would take care of the Israelites when they went in?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they had no faith that he was doing it for their sake.
Right.
They justified it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to just go from Rashi now to Sforno, who I quoted last week. I've always loved Sforno. Lived in the 14th and 1500s. Talk about brilliant people. He was a physician. He was a philosopher. He was a Torah commentator. So he says, Eretz Ochelid Yoshveha. Okay, and here, Jan, I think he's very close to you. He says, Afal pisha am hayoshvim ba chazakim ein ze bishvil shevach haaretz. He says, even though the people who are living there are chazakim, are strong, this is not a matter of praising the land, right? It's like in spite of the land. Aval hu mipnei shelo Yisharu bazulati chazakim, because the reality is that no one was able to survive there except these really strong people. Shehem chazkei hamezeg, because they are strong to the effects of climate. V'hasha'ar meitim ba, and the rest of the people died there. Mipnei roa ha'avir, because of the evil air. So it's a very interesting expression, roa avir. When it says evil air, what would you think it means? It's like air pollution, right? Air pollution. So it's not an expression I've ever heard before, but the words roa mean bad, avir air. So I looked to find a translation of it, and the translation was it was a terrible climate. But let's just say that not only did I think about air pollution, but they had climate change going on. And it was killing everybody. I shouldn't say it with a smile. The climate change is killing everybody. But Jan, what you said before is so valid that it seems like there were two classes, the strong and the weak. The strong are able to not only survive, but flourish and thrive, right? But the weak, they're suffering. Does it sound at all like America today? Sound like America? We have those who are thriving, they're the strong, they're the wealthy. But then we have those who are weak, and they are struggling and being devoured. And who cares about them? Who cares about them? There were a couple of hands that I just saw. Okay, 3 hands. Fred, go on.
When you were talking about burning the dead, I was thinking...
You know what, Fred, just 1 second. Can I, maybe, yeah, if we can just talk on this, because the people that are with us on... Is it on? Yeah, it's on, yeah. They won't hear unless we speak into a microphone. People that are with us on live stream. Yeah, go on, Fred. Yeah, just get close, put it close to your mouth.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. I was thinking more in terms of certain areas in Turkey, that the stones that they use for building their homes actually are radioactive.
Really? Really?
And people die. And they did not know in those times why people would die, because the stones looked normal.
Uh-huh.
And I wonder, it's not all that far, and I looked at the geology.
Yeah.
Some of that goes towards Israel.
Really?
but
Wow.
it's well known in Turkey.
We have an archaeologist here. Michael, did you ever hear of that? So you guys ought to talk. After service you ought to talk about this. That the stones were radioactive, and it was causing people to get cancer, whatever it was. What? Yeah, they built their houses out of it. So, yeah. So, wow. Yeah. Like we had all kinds of things. Things were being built by them here, that we find out that those are, very dangerous. Like lead, lead poisoning. All these things have lead in it. Radon. Yeah. Okay. Just Arlene and then Iris, and then we're going to wrap up. So interesting.
I thought maybe the word settlers was a clue, that the people who lived there were always there, so they're
established.
And they're strong, and they're able to live there. But settlers, people moving in, were not used to the environment, and maybe in that way they were devoured by the land.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting. And Iris, you have the last comment. Just wait for the microphone. We want people all over the world to hear what you're saying.
Well, it's not that important, except when you said pollution, the weather today, they said that the air is very polluted, and that anyone who has any medical problems should not be outside, so maybe it's good that we came inside.
Yeah, very good. And that's crazy, because yesterday I happened to look, and it said that the air is very good. So from one day to the next, you don't know what's going to happen.
And so
very
today
interesting.
was a bad day.
So
It's a bad day.
Yeah, okay, we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. So that's it, Mimi. If you want to find out what's going on in the United States, Sherry, did you want to say something? Just quickly, if you would.
What you said about bad air, that was in the translation, or that was in the book that was written in the 1400s?
No. That was Sforno, and he wrote it in Hebrew, Roa Ha'avir. And I'm just providing a translation, because Roa means evil, like we have Roa HaGezerah in the High Holy Day liturgy, and Avir is air, so bad air.
But you, at that time, you also had plague going around in the 1400s.
Could be.
And people believed that, bad stuff came from the air.
I see.
So I don't know. If that has
very
something to
interesting.
do with it.
Wasn't that the plague that the Jews started?
Yeah, with the lasers, we did that.
Right, yeah. If there was something bad, it had to be our fault. Yeah. So anyhow, if you want to know what's going on in the United States, you can read the Israeli press, because they follow what's going on in the United States pretty well. And I look at the headline in the Israeli press yesterday. It turns out they were quoting someone, but this was the headline. One headline said, the headline said, in America, they love their rifles more than they love their women. This is what they say in Israel, right? And Israel is the closest ally we have there. Can you imagine people that don't like us so much, what they say? So in Israel, they say, in America, they love their rifles. Then they said they love their ammunition. First they said roveh, then they said neshek. They love their ammunition more than they love their women. So, those who used to live in the United States, who were made aliyah, they read that and they say, thank God we moved to Israel. Thank God. And the other ones who thought maybe they'll come to America to make a fortune, but they're still in Israel, they say, thank God we never went to the United States. What is going on there? And you know what? Someone who is tuned into the language of our Torah portion today, they would say the United States, it's an Eretz Ochelet Yoshveha. It is a land that is devouring its inhabitants. You want to carry a concealed weapon with no license, and in the state in which you live, there's a law that says that you must have a license. Supreme Court knocks that down. No. What a terrible law. What a terrible law. We, the United States Supreme Court, have to come in and say that is... Jan, your head's going to fall off. Can you take it easy for a second? You can only shake so much. Okay, hold on for a second. I'm on a roll, you know? If I'm spreading calumnies, just let me go on, right? Jan, this is therapeutic for me up here, you know? So I see you want to say something. I get it. No, I'll call on you. It's just the opposite, these two rulings. One is a state made a ruling, and the Supreme Court says, we can't leave this up to the states. It's too important that people be able to carry concealed weapons without a license. Can't do it anymore. But when it comes to women's health, then we're going to say that there is no longer any federal overriding law. Let the states do whatever they want. And we know that we have X number of states that, as of that moment, had other laws. They call them zombie laws that will go into effect. Okay, Jan, tell us what's really going on.
Well, Rabbi, in New York, you still need a license to carry a concealed weapon. You just don't need a reason to get the license. You used to have to give a reason. You had to show that you need a gun.
Yeah.
Now, you don't need to show that. You just apply for the license, and assuming you meet all the other criteria, you got it. You don't have to show a reason why you need it. Yeah, whatever the law.
So Jan, does that make it okay then? Is that okay?
Rabbi, I don't want to go there. It's just a nuanced decision.
Okay, so I'm 0 for 2 so far this morning. I pronounced calumnies wrong. So you just have to get you just apply. You don't have to have a reason for carrying it. So actually, I'm going to take your word for it. That's not my understanding of it, but I'm going to take your word for it, John, because you know more about guns than I do. So, does that change things really all that much? Does it change things all that much? I don't know. But you know what, Jan? You can't get into the Supreme Court with a gun. And you know what? When there was the NRA, and when our former president was speaking, no one was allowed in with a gun. How come? How come guns weren't good then? But you know what? Anybody here, who has they come right in here. Can't tell them to stop. You know what, Jan? We're turning into an Eretz Ochelet Yoshveha. We're turning into a country that is devouring its people.
And they say the Wild West, but even in the Wild West, there are a lot of towns that wouldn't allow weapons in.
That's where I would have moved to. Yeah. There was one more hand. Yeah. There was another hand that was up, and then we're going to wrap? No? Okay. So anyhow, what seems to be a very esoteric, verse really, nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with us. We are living in troubled times, and you were here last night, Flori. At the Onik Shabbat, right after the service, we figured it all out, what we're going to do. You see, you have to decide, Flori, what is worse. You have to decide what's worse. Paying $5 a gallon for gas, or losing the democracy under which you grew up. Because we were on the verge of losing our democracy. And we still are. It's not past tense. What happened on January 6th, when I first saw it, I thought it was a bunch of goofballs who spontaneously were doing goofballish stuff. But what we're learning now is that this was an totally organized coup of the United States government. Orchestrated is what we're finding out. And who are we finding it out from? From Republicans. Right? We're finding it out. You can hear it in their own words. They're telling you. The president told this guy to do this, told me to do this, told me to do this, told me to do this. And we resisted. And had they not resisted, boy, would we be devoured now. Democracy was on the line. And so when I started out by saying, Flora, you need to decide what's more important to you, $5 gas or living in a democracy. There's going to be an election in November, and Americans will have a chance to vote. And we'll see how our fellow Americans vote. I know how I'm going to vote. You all have to decide how you're going to vote. But what are we going to vote for? Your pocketbook or your democracy? Your pocketbook or your whole way of life? Yeah, Iris. Yeah. I promised we were going to be, promised myself, 10 minutes and that's it.
I'm sorry.
I said, Pearlstein, 10 minutes. No,
I-
it's not
I
your
have
fault.
this feeling with all of the Republican senators who are afraid to say that it was going to be a coup. I think they were threatened. And I think after listening to what's been going on and all the people that were threatened, I think they were all threatened with their families from our former wonderful person. And I think that's why they're not bending and saying
You know
that
what?
they agree.
You know what? At this point, Iris,
It's possible.
anything's possible. We still don't know. We still don't know the whole story.
No, it's very
Okay,
scary.
we need to hear somebody who's got the future ahead of him. Brandon, go on.
So I hear a lot of the, complaining, not, complaining, but making the statement of guns, and I haven't heard, what are we going to do about it? And so the way I see it is we're never going to have one side wins. And if you think about it, if we do take away their guns, there's going to be a fight. So I say that we need to compromise. They can have their handguns, they can have their hunting rifles, that's protection and that's hunting for, sport and for food. But why do they need these automatic weapons? Like, why do they need to shoot this ammunition so fast and so deadly at crowds? They use the argument that it's protection against another armed person, but we wouldn't have that problem if that armed person didn't have a gun. It's like fighting with fire, but we wouldn't need to fight fire with fire if there was no fire to begin with.
So just let Brandon's words sink in. Yeah. Brandon, that makes total sense to you, right? Makes total sense to me. What? Okay, go on, Fred. Go on. Yeah.
First of all, automatic.
Okay. Go on, Fred. Go on.
First of all, automatic weapons are prohibited and have been since 1968
Okay.
or earlier.
Okay.
They're semi-automatic, which means that you need to pull the trigger for each round. Now, if you have a magazine that has 30 rounds, what are you going to use it for? Use it for competition. And you don't need to put that large a magazine in, but those rifles are used for hunting also, and for personal protection in the home.
So,
That-
yeah.
But
So-
again,
so-
they're not automatic.
So,
You could have them
Okay, okay.
look like a regular
okay, so,
rifle.
so
and
we have,
some-
okay, yeah.
and-
Okay, so we have both positions on the floor, right? I think both positions. We have Brandon's position, and we have Fred, your position.
I'll keep it short, Rabbi.
And we can all decide which position we think is the position we ought to adopt in America. Yeah, no, okay. Bill, you have the last comment, that's it. We're done.
I guess for me the question is real easy. If you're in a room with someone who has a weapon, who is inclined to use it, would you rather be in a room with someone who has a weapon that is not semi-automatic, does not have a large magazine, or are we going to feel safer, but that person can still protect themselves with a traditional handgun,
Hey,
a traditional rifle?
Bill. Listen, I love you all, but such Narishkeit being said is, yeah. So you know what? Everybody go out and buy an AK-15. And bring your AK-15 here next Shabbat, because maybe some guy's going to come in with an AK-15, and we want to all be able to shoot him before he gets us. Come on, let's move on. I'm really sorry. We're turning to the Torah reading. I've never needed Torah as much as I do right now. God, show us your way. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Jan. Okay. Cantor, it's all yours. Cantor, how do you sit back and stay quiet with all this? Oh, Cantor's talking there.
How about I start, Rabbi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Azor vegin v'yeshel lekach achasim b'avin amara mehin avov v'leheinu tenu kivod l'torah ya'amdo v'shava le'bat Ephraim v'gito v'Yehuda u'Miriam ben Chaim Hirsch HaKohen Baruch shenatan Torah le'Moshe v'Dushato v'aytam advikim b'rna le'echem chaim kolchem ayom.
Verse 844, verse 13, chapter 13, verse 31. You're welcome.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ato Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher Bochar Bonu Mikol Amim V'Noasan Lonu Es Torah. So Baruch Ato Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'ha'anashim asher alu imo imru lo nuchal la'alot el ha'am ki chazaku mimenu vayotziu dibad ha'aretz asher taru otah El Bnei Yisrael lemor v'ha'aretz asher avarnu va lator otah eretz ochel et yoshveha hi v'chol ha'am asher ra'inu b'tocha anshe midot V'sham ra'inu et hanafilim b'nei anak min hanafilim v'nehi be'einenu kechagafim v'chach hayinu be'eineihem v'chen hayinu be'eineihem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emes v'chayei olam nota b'sochenu Baruch atah Adonai Nosein haTorah.
Amen. For the second Aliyah, we are honoring this morning our Torah readers and Haftarah chanters. So anyone who has read Torah or chanted Haftarah during the past year or during the past 25 years. Yeah, you know what, Iris, that's fine. You're part of it also from there, yeah. Come on up.
Ya'amdu ele shekurim Torah sheni.
Right there. Amen. Vatiseko ha'edah vayitnu et kolam yivachu ha'am ha'am balalahahu vayilonu al Moshe v'al Aharon kol b'nei Yisrael vayimru eleihem kol ha'edah lumatnu b'eretz Mitzrayim o bamidbar hazeh lumatnu v'lamo Adonai mavi otanu. Just lost it. Al ha'aretz hazot lin po b'cherev nisanu nishenu v'tapenu yehu lavaz halo tov lanu shu mitrayima vayamru ish el achiv nitna rosh v'nashuva mitrayima. Eloheinu melech olam, asher natan lanu Torah v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu, baruch atah Adonai, notei haTorah.
Amen. Stay here for just a minute. Cover the Torah. Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to cover, Rabbi and I want to offer you, both of you, but all of you, And I know that people interspersingly have read Torah, but especially for this past year, it just brings me so much gratitude that you all have taken this really sacred duty of reading Torah and sharing your talents and your voice with our community. And I am so grateful, and I hope that we continue to share that with all of us. And I am indebted to you for your dedication and your service. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Kol HaKavod, Yasher Koach, really for everything that you do for our community. So it means a lot. And Rabbi is going to offer a Mishaberach.
Well, I'm going to offer Mishberach, but I want to give you the Rashi on the Cantor's Torah. So that means my commentary on what the Cantor just said. So the next time Cantor calls you for a part, just say yes. Right? Yeah. So I'd like to offer this blessing for all of you, for all of us. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sar Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yevarech et kol ele שעומדים על הבימה של בית הכנסת שלנו, שעומדים לקרוא מן התורה ולקרוא מן הנביאים בהפטרה, אנחנו מתפללים שהקדוש ברוך הוא ישמריהם ויציליהם מכל צרה וצוקה נגע ומחלה, יברך אותם בברכה, באושר ובריאות ובהצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם עם כל ישראל אחיהם, ונאמר אמן. יש כוח. Keep going strong.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brandon, I'm going to be calling you to the Torah. I just want to point out that your mom has made sure that your name is in the black book of Super Cadre and Ohev Shalom. Ya'amod Ephraim Chayam, Ashbe ben Yosef Tzipora Shlishi.
Is your neck okay? My neck's fine. The way you were shaking it. Listen.
We'll continue on verse 5.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayipil Moshe va'aharon el peneihem lifnei kol kachol adat b'nei Yisrael. Vayahashua binun v'chalev ben Yefuneh min hatarim et haaretz ad haaretz karu bigehem vayomru el kol adat b'nei Yisrael le'mor haaretz asher avarnu ba lator ota tova haaretz ma'od me'od.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
So Brandon, I understand you're going to have quite a summer this summer?
Very excited.
Very excited. First, a week at Yale University, studying with some of the top business minds in the country.
Yes.
Wow. So business is your interest and your field. And then you're going to the Startup Nation,
Yes.
where the best startup businesses are happening. 3 weeks in Israel with BBYO.
Yeah, I'm very
Wow.
excited.
About both things. Yeah. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So when do you go first to Yale?
Yale's, I think it's in a week or two. July 9th, I guess.
July 9th, yeah.
And then
It's
Israel's,
good thing somebody knows your calendar here.
and then Israel is the end of July.
End of July.
August.
Wow. Great. Well, have a great time at both. Yeah. Not everybody makes it. No, I'm not done yet. No. Not everybody makes it to Yale, so, have a great experience there. Wow. And then in Israel. It's great. So I'd like to offer this blessing for you. Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yevarech et Ephraim Chaim Ben Yosef et Tzipora Al Nisiato Bekarov La'artzenu HaKadosha Eretz Medinat Yisrael Anachnu mitpalelim Sheyetzei b'shalom V'yachzor lanu b'shalom V'nomar Amen. Have a great time, Brandon. So for those who are listening to the blessing that I just offered to Brandon, you may have heard the word Artzeno HaKadosha, our holy land, Eretz, the land, Medinat Yisrael, the state of Israel. But you'll say, why didn't we hear the word Yale in the blessing? Listen, you get a blessing for going to Israel. Going to Connecticut isn't Yale in Connecticut? Yeah. Okay. So, Jerry, you have the fourth aliyah.
Ya'amad el b'leibesh v'chaya revihi.
Continuing on line 8.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam v'ayim.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch le'olam v'ayim. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baruch bano mikol ha'amim v'nosan lanu es Torah. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Im chafetz banu Adonai v'hevi otanu el haaretz hazot v'netana lanu eretz asher hi zivad chalav u'devash ach baronai al timrodu ve'atem al tir'u et am haaretz ki lachamenu him Sir Tzilam Eleihem Adonai Itanu Al Tiraum Vayomru Kol Ha'eda Nirgomotam Ba'avanim Uchvod Adonai Nir'a B'Ohel Mo'ed El Kol B'nei Yisrael
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosan lanu Torah emes v'hayeh olam notav Baruch Atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Oh, Jerry.
We'll offer a Misha Berach now for those who are dear to us, who are ill.
Okay.
Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yevarech v'Yirapeh et את כל החולים הקרובים לנו אנחנו מתפללים שהקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחלימם ולרפאותם וישלח להם במהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף, לכל איבריהם וגידיהם בתוך שאר חולי ישראל. שבתי מילי זעוק רפואה קרובה לבוא, השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן.
Ta'amot Hechazan, Chana Miriam, Bat Uvad Ephraim, the Sarakava, or Natchulamid, Maftir Hazah. Deep breath.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Havorach.
Baruch Adonai Havorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Havorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai Moshe Lemor Daber El Bnei Yisrael Ve'amarta Alehem V'yasu lehem tzitzit Al kanvei vigdeihem ledorotam V'natenu Al tzitzit hakana piltil techelet V'haya lachem letzitzit Uritem oto Uzchartem ekol mitzvot Adonai V'asitem otam ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם מכל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני Adonai Elohechem. Have you heard that before?
In fairness to the cantors,
she only had 3 days to prepare that.
It's a tough one. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yeah, just one second. Can we cover the Torah? So, the month of June is a very big month for Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies and Cantor Annalise. Some people know who Kyle Schwarber is, so yeah, it's a baseball joke. So for you, on June the 14th, you had your birthday. This is the anniversary of your becoming a bat mitzvah. And in 3 days is your 7th wedding anniversary. Very cool, very cool. So, it's hard to get gematrias for numbers like, 5, 2, 7, but there are some. But more importantly is that when we say 7, we just think about Sheva Brachot, the 7 blessings. So for these past 7 years of marriage and 11 years altogether, you and Alex have been really blessings for each other. And together you've brought 2 new blessings into the world. So just made settlement on your new house a couple of days ago on Tuesday. So so much to be grateful for, so much to be thankful for, and so many blessings filling your life. And today's the 27th anniversary since becoming a bat mitzvah in the middle of the Jewish world, Omaha, Nebraska, right, in our country's heartland.
That's right.
So there are 2, I think, really meaningful gematrias. One is the Eheyeh, and I will be, I will be. So I can only imagine, Annalise, that as a bat mitzvah, 27 years ago, you dreamed about what, you will be. And I am sure, well, there's no question, that you have even done things greater than what you could have imagined at 13. Yeah, I know you wanted to be a pop star, right? So, but this is better than being a pop star.
I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
It's good.
I think
I get my
better.
microphone, I get to sing.
Yeah, you got the whole
I'm
deal.
set.
Whole deal. So, so today you also think about the and I will be. What is yet to come? So, do we get a vote on that? We would just say the other gematria for 27 is Ha Tova, the goodness. So just continue with the goodness that God has blessed you with, and you share with all of us. So they say, don't change a thing. Just be, the blessing that you are. And we'll continue to benefit from that blessing that you are. Please God. משברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך את החזן. Jan, we're not a duet. Yeah. Hechazan, Chana Miriam, Bat Ovadia Ephraim, Vesara, Chava, Orna, Shulamit, Al Aliyata Lachagog, Et Yom Hanisuin, Viet Yom Aliyata LaTorah, Bigil 13 Habat Mitzvah, אנחנו מתפללים שהקדוש ברוך הוא ישמריה ויציליה מכל צרה וצוקה ומחלה, יברך אותה בבריאות ובאושר, ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיה, עם כל ישראל אחיה, ונאמר Amen. So for the anniversary, עוד ישמע ביערי יהודה, ובחוצות ירושלים, כל ששון וכל שמחה שמחה, כל חתן וכל כלה, כל ששון וכל שמחה, כל חתן וכל כלה. That's out 12 times 3 and more.
The Goodbye would like to now offer a blessing to all those who participated in the service this morning. Mishaberak Avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Uyevarek et kol ele she'elu lechavod hamakom, lekvod haTorah, lekvod haShabbat, et kol ele sheneknesu lefilah. Yishkazel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yishmerechem, V'yatilechem, Mimkol tzara v'tzucha, U'mekol nega u'machala, V'yishlach b'racha, V'hatzlacha b'kol ma'aseh yadehem, Im kol Yisrael arteichem, and Omar, Amen.
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who ascended the bima to honor the place of God's presence, to honor the Torah, and to honor the Shabbat, and all those who entered the synagogue for prayer. For this, may the Holy One guard them and save them from all trouble or distress, afflictions or illness. May God send blessing and success in all work of their hands, with all Israel, their brothers and sisters, and together we say,
Amen. We'll rise for the lifting of the Torah. In case anyone missed it, the cantor's name.
You don't have to do it again. It's okay. It's okay.
Chazan, Chada Miriam, Ovadia, Ephraim, Sarah, Chava, Orna, Ushulamit, Havak, Biha, Ta'amot, Shendo Yehudit, Bat Hershel, Ufruma, Hagolelet.
Highly unnecessary.
Kezot HaTorah Asher Moshe Lifnei
Moses brought to the Torah together.
You can have a seat you can find in the Chumash Haftarah Shalach Lacha on page 858. We're starting at verse 12. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai Abocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet b'tzedek ve'ata hishav'una li b'Adonai ki asiti imachem Chased v'asitem gam atem im beit avi chesed unetatem li אות אמת. והחייתם את אבי ואת אמי, ואת אחי ואת אחיותי, ואת כל אשר להם, והצלתם את נפשותינו ממוות. ויאמרו לאנשים, נפשנו תחתיכם למות, אם לא תגידו את דברנו זה. והיה בצאת אדוני לנו את הארץ, ועשינו עמך חסד ואמת. ותורידם בחבל ויד החלון, כי ביתה בקיר החומה, ובחומה היא יושבת. ותאמר להם, ההרה לכו, פן יפגעו בהם הרודפים, ונחבאתם שמה 3 ימים, עד שוב הרודפים, ואחר תלכו לדרככם. ויאמרו אליה האנשים, נקיים אנחנו משבועתך זה אשר השבתנו. הנה אנחנו באים בארץ את תקוות חוץ. השני הזה תקשרי בחלון אשר הורדתנו בו, ואת אביך ואת אמך ואת אחייך ואת כל בית אביך תאפסי עלייך הביתה. והיה כל אשר יצא מדלתי ביתך החוצה, דמו וראשו, ואנחנו נקיים. וכל אשר יהיה איתך בבית, דמו וראשנו, אם יד תהיה בו. ואם תגידי את דברנו זה, והיינו נקיים משבועתך אשר השבתנו, ותאמר כדבריכם כן הוא, ותשלם וילכו, ותקשור את תקוות השני בחלון. וילכו ויבואו ההרה, וישבו שם 3 ימים, עד שבו הרודפים. ויבקשו הרודפים בכל הדרך ולא מצאו. וישובו 2 האנשים וירדו מההר, ויעברו ויבואו אל יהושע בן נון, ויספרו לו את כל המוצאות אותם. ויאמרו אל יהושע כי נתן אדוני בידינו את כל הארץ וגם נמוגו כל יושבי הארץ מפנינו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם צור כל העולמים צדיק בכל הדורות האל הנאמן האומר ועושה המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ונאמנים דבריך ודבר אחד מדבריך אחור לא ישוב ריקם. כי המלך נאמן ורחמן אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו ולעלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני משמח ציון בבניה. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא עבדך ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך. במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו על כיסו לא ישב זר ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו. כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן דוד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
יישר כוח. Wow. Just give the cantor a moment to catch her breath because we have a big number coming up. Let's all rise for Birkat HaChodesh, the Rosh Chodesh Benchen, prayer for the new month, 334. 334.
יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהי אבותינו, שתחדש עלינו את החודש הזה לטובה ולברכה. ותיתן לנו חיים ארוכים, חיים של שלום, חיים של טובה, חיים של ברכה, חיים של פרנסה, חיים של חילוץ עצמות, חיים שיש בהם יראת שמיים ויראת חטא, חיים שאין בהם בושה וכלימה, חיים של אושר וכבוד, חיים שתהי בנו אהבת תורה ויראת שמיים, חיים שימלאו משאלות ליבנו לטובה, אמן סלם. מי שעשה ניסים לאבותינו וגאל אותם מעבדות לחירות, הוא יגאל אותנו בקרוב ויקבץ נידחינו מאבק כנפות הארץ. חברים כל ישראל ונאמר אמן. ראש חודש תמוז יהיה ביום רביעי וביום חמישי, הבא עלינו והכל ישראל לטובה.
May the month of Tammuz will begin on the 4th and 5th day of this coming week, Tuesday evening, Wednesday, and Thursday. May it be a month of goodness for us and for all Israel. In the new month, may the Holy One, praised be God, bless us and the household of Israel with life and peace, joy and gladness, deliverance and comfort, and let us say Amen.
יחדשהו הקדוש ברוך הוא עלינו ועל כל עמו בית ישראל לחיים ולשלום, לששון ולשמחה, לישועה ולנחמה, ונאמר אמן.
Let's turn to page 332. Eileen, how are you doing with the Torah?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Yes.
Okay. It's a long carry. It's a long holding time. 332, for Medinat Yisrael, our prayer for the state of Israel.
Adonai Eloheinu, Tzor Yisrael v'goalo, barech et Medinat Yisrael, v'hagen aleha.
We ask your blessings, O God, for the state of Israel, for the land of Israel, and for the people of Israel. Bless those who defend the land and protect its people. Bless its leaders with wisdom, courage, and dedication. May they be resolute in the face of challenge and unwavering in the pursuit of justice and peace. May Israel be a beacon of hope for the oppressed, a source of inspiration to all who are free. Fulfill in our day the ancient promise, Zion b'mishpat tipadeh v'shaveha b'tzedakah. Zion shall be redeemed through justice and its inhabitants through righteousness. Amen. We return the Torah to the Aron Kodesh, middle of page 340.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskaf shemo levado, hodo al eretz v'shamayim, v'yarekeh yamo, tehila lecho chasidav, v'bnei Yisrael. Kol Adonai hamayim el hakavod hirin, Adonai hamayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shomer harazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzi havanon, Vayarkidan kemo ekel Lebanon v'Sirion, kemo ven reimim, Kol Adonai chotzev lahavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yechol el al yalot, Vayachasof yeharot uvechalo kulo, Homer kavod, Adonai lama budiyashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
Tell the rabbi's got to get here for Mariv.
Ki lekach tov natati lachem, Torati atazovu, et sa'ili lamachziki ba, betomchecha
Chom netivotecha,
Shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashova, Kodesh, Kodesh Shomeinu, Kodesh Shomeinu,
So let's find ourselves on page 383, 382. They who keep Shabbat, calling it a delight, rejoice in your sovereignty. They who sanctify the seventh day, find satisfaction and pleasure in your goodness. For you favored the seventh day and hallowed it, proclaiming it the most precious of days, recalling the work of creation. Yismechu.
Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomnei, 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 shapat v'koreh, anei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomnei, 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 shapat v'koreh, anei Shabbat. Mekadesh shevi Shabbat, Kolam Yisrael, v'yitanegu mituvecha. Yismechu Shomnei, 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 shapat v'koreh, anei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomnei, 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 shapat v'koreh, anei Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kiresho Shabbat, chemnat yamim, otol karat Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha,
Shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, Onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, Onei Shabbat.
Zecher lemaseh למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת.
So let's turn to page 400, Ein Kelohenu, 400.
אין כאלוהינו, אין כאדוננו, אין כמלכנו, אין כמושיענו, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Mi Elohenu, mi Adonenu, mi כמלכנו, mi כמושיענו, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Nodel Eloheinu, nodel Adonenu, nodel Malkeinu, nodel Moshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Atahu shehiktiru avotenu lefanecha ektoret hasamim. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
So rise Aleinu, or you already have. Good to see you all rising, standing, and stay where you are. Aleinu 402.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה לעוצר בראשית. גוי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כאן, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהונו את השמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו וגופן מרומים. O Eloheinu ein od, en Elokeinu echad zulato. כן נקבל לך? ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו
Once again, we note with sadness the passing of David Matz. May his memory be cherished always for a blessing. We recall those whose yahrzeits are observed today. Shirley Shacker, grandmother of Gail Goldstein. Jan, your dear father. John Nolan. Alice Munitz, mother of Eileen Packman. Larry Levy, brother of Ray Levy. Rose Krython, mother of Marvin Krython. Barbara Dratch, mother of Barry Dratch. And Nathan Dratch, father of Anne Berman. And those whose yahrzeits have been observed during the course of this past week: Joseph Rosner, Rita Peck, Mara Lipschutz, Herb Terrace, Leon Spiegler, Heidi Sheherman, Samuel H. Rubin, Marlene Leibowitz, Amy Cahan, Audrey Grubman, Sylvia Edelman, Seymour Z. Bohm, Albert Bush, Ben Sirota, Bessie Rothman, Claire Radin, Frida Middleberg, Joel H. Madelman, Francis Kaufman, Milton Katz, Berthold Greenhut, Israel Lewis Fishman, William Bellman, and Abraham Friedman. And those who have more recently gone to their eternal home: Cantor's dear aunt, Ava Maria Ocanto, Janice Lang Kine, Stanley Rath, our dear Anna Andrusier, Arthur Schlesinger, Candace Rosen, Alan Lieboff, Sylvia Gingold, Ira Hirsch, Jonathan Israel, Stephen Weiner, Marilyn Rosenblatt, Ronnie Schlesinger, our beloved Cantor Paul, Edith Kaufman, Alan Wolf, Marvin Levy, Bernard Siegel, Edith Schulman, Gussie Chudnoff, Benjamin Hoffman, Harold Kurtz, David Aronson, and Jeffrey Berlin. May each of their memories continue to be cherished for a loving blessing. If all those reciting Kaddish Yatom might rise, finding ourselves on page 410. Yitgadal v'yitkadash merabah. Biolma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei decho Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach leolam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yithalal. Shmei dekutsha berechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran bi'olma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Amen. Here you are. Eileen.
Thank you, Rabbi. Here I am again. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos to all of you. Of all of the wonderful honors that have been given to me as long as I've been a member of Ohev, I don't think I ever closed the Ark before. So I had a little difficulty finding the right thing. But everything else here, starting with being told that the Torah readers would be, and Haftorah readers would be honored today, to me is just another reason that Ohev Shalom is so special, I think, to all of its members. And if you did not get a chance last night to be at the service, and if you happened to come right into the synagogue this morning, please make sure that you take a look at the two benches
that are outside of our synagogue opening, dedicated to Janie Perlstein of blessed memory by our inclusion B'Kavod. And I think the name is perfect, a seat of tranquility. Because when we're here in this synagogue, I feel as though we are in a sea of tranquility. And so I think that those benches, those seats out there are just perfect. Services continue for all of us. Sunday morning minyan is Zoom only. Our weekday minyan, we have 7 o'clock at night. Please make sure that you attend. And then during the week, we have walking. All of these events that I'm reminding you of are on the pink supplement and the Shabbat supplement, and also if you check O events and if you check the Shabbatogram, you'll find them as well. So for your physical health, walk with Barbara Glickman, our new executive director, on Wednesdays at 9:30. And then a little bit of brain game, if you are interested in canasta, from 1 to 3 o'clock in the social hall on Thursday, June 30th. And if you're interested in learning how to play, then we can make that happen for you as well. Very quickly, we're going to have a return of Friday Night Live, the third Friday night of each Shabbat, starting soon, and Kiddush Club. We hope to be able to have a more extended Kiddush through the months as things ease up with the pandemic and everything. And so to old friends and to new whom I see here today, on behalf of the officers and the board of directors, we wish all of you a Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos to you all.
Thanks, Eileen. Thanks. For those who may be free at 8:30 tonight, we're going to be having a Zoom Mariv service. I have Yurtzeit for Janie tonight, so anyone who can be part of it at 8:30, just go into however you enter the weekday evening service, and you'll be able to come into the service. So we'll daven and yeah. So Brandon, great to have you here today with your mom and dad and your grandparents on your way to Yale University and then on to Israel for 3 weeks. So have two great experiences that'll be memories that'll last you a long, long time. And when you leave Israel, just say to yourself, my plans are to come back, da-da-da-da-da. So yeah, it's got to be always another trip in your mind. So great, really happy for you. And thank you, Brandon, for the wisdom that you bring us this morning. Yeah, really, thanks. Thanks. Cantor, happy everything. Happy bat mitzvah anniversary, happy wedding anniversary. And most exciting, I think, for you this year and the whole family is Mazel Tov on making settlement on your new home. Really is wonderfully exciting. So, yeah. We're all coming over to visit. So,
Absolutely. Come on. In about a month. Which should be
Great. So, folks, great to be together. And how about if we conclude? Oh, we have a special Kiddush this morning. Cantor went to Kramer's in Yardley, especially for the Torah readers and the Haftorah. Well, for everybody here. So, Adon Olam, 412.
Yeah, after the Kiddush, Arlene, I got you. I'm just gonna go. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terakol, Yetzir Nivra, Nasa, V'chav Sokol, Azay Malach Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'Acharei Kiklot HaKol, Lem Adon Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, V'Hu Haya, V'Hu Over, V'Hu Yeh B'Tifara Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terakol, Yetzir Nivra, Nasa, V'chav Sokol, Azay Malach אדון עולם, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה אדון עולם, בלי ראשי, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמיסה אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך טרם כל, יצא נברא, יין עשה, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם, והוא אלי, וחי גולי, וצורכם ליבי יצרה אדון עולם, והוא ניסי, ומנוס לי, מנקוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך בטרם כל, יצא נברא, יין נשא, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם, בידו הפקיד רוחי, ויתישה ויעירה אדון עולם, ואם רוחי כפייתי, אדוני לי ולא ירא אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך בטרם כל, יצא נברא, ויתנשא, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו, ספרי חבריי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. לחיים.
לחיים, לחיים, לחיים.
שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שלום ומבורך. שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום ומבורך. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Happy everything. So at your bar mitzvah, did like everybody say, you should become a Karen?
No, but I was gifted with tikkun. So anytime anything that was read more than one aliyah, the rabbi gave a tikkun, the old school.
Yeah.
So inside it's like, I know that this is not going to be the last one. He was wrong. So that could have been something, but no, that was happening.
Tried to break it. Tried to break it.
I mean, I was in shul all the time. We always went to Shabbat morning, always, every single Shabbos. I was in the choir, I was in my class, I was a teacher in Hebrew school. It was a natural.
How old are you?
Mazel tov. I just have to tell you, I was so depressed yesterday with all of the news. And I woke up and I walked to the synagogue. I said, I just felt, thank you for making me feel so much better. And now I'm ready to fight.
That's it. That's it.
You do. Reflecting when you.
Yeah. And yesterday was a bad day.
Depressing.
But I did, when I do Shabbat, I go with my 3-year-old. First, we have to do Shabbat like real. We have got to.